Romeo and Juliet. A long time ago, in the city of Verona, it was very quiet. The city had old castles and big walls all around. People lived happily there. A kind leader from the Della Scala family took care of the city. Rich and important families lived there too, with their helpers. But two families, the Montagues and the Capulets, didn't like each other. They had been fighting for a long time, and nobody remembered why. The old leaders of the families were calm, but the young people liked to fight and make trouble in the city. The leader was angry. He said that anyone who fought would be punished. A young man named Romeo made his parents worry. He was always sad. Romeo loved a girl named Rosalind, but she didn't love him back. Benvolio knew that Rosalind was going to a party at the Capulets' house. Many important people were going too. Benvolio said to Romeo, "Come to the party. You can see other girls. Maybe you will see that Rosalind isn't so special." Romeo said, "I will go, but only to see Rosalind." So Romeo and Benvolio put on masks and went to the Capulets' house. The Capulets were Romeo's family's enemies. It was brave of them to go there. The Capulet servants were busy, getting ready for the party. Old Capulet welcomed the guests and told jokes. The music started, and everyone began to dance. Romeo saw a girl dancing. He asked a servant, "Who is that beautiful girl? She is so bright, like a shining star. I want to hold her hand." Tybalt, Juliet's cousin, heard Romeo's voice. He knew Romeo was a Montague. Tybalt was very angry and wanted to fight him. But old Capulet said, "Stop, behave yourself." Old Capulet said to Tybalt, "Don't disobey me. You are being rude. Stop it now. This is a party, not a fight." Tybalt was still angry, but he left. He said he would get Romeo later. Romeo went to Juliet and said, "Your hand is so beautiful. May I touch it?" He also wanted to kiss her. Juliet laughed and said, "Your hand is fine. Let's just shake hands." Romeo said, "But what about a kiss?" They kept talking, but then Juliet's nurse came and said, "Juliet, your mother wants you." Romeo asked the nurse who Juliet was. He was shocked to learn she was a Capulet. Juliet wanted to know more about Romeo. She asked her nurse, "Who is that boy? Is he important?" The nurse said, "His name is Romeo. He is a Montague from our enemy's family." Juliet thought, "Oh no, I love someone from the family we hate. This is terrible. I should hate him, but I can't." The nurse asked, "What are you saying?" Juliet said, "It's nothing, just some random thoughts." She didn't want the nurse to know her secret. The party was over, and they left the room. But Romeo didn't go home. He left his friend Benvolio and climbed over the wall into Juliet's garden. He wanted to see her again. Romeo walked quietly in the garden, thinking about Juliet. Suddenly, a window opened, and Juliet came out onto the balcony. She looked worried. Romeo hid in the shadows and thought she was more beautiful than the stars. Juliet sighed and said, "Oh, Romeo, why are you Romeo? Why do you have to be a Montague? I wish you weren't." Romeo wanted to shout out to her, but Juliet kept talking. "It's just your name. That is my enemy," she said. "You are still you, even if you weren't a Montague." Romeo jumped out and said, "Then call me your love. I don't care about my name anymore." Juliet was shy that Romeo had heard her secret. She was also scared that someone from her family would find him there. Romeo said, "Don't be afraid. Love helped me climb over the wall." Julie E.T. blushed and said, "I should pretend I don't like you." "But why?" "Romeo, do you love me? I know you will say yes, and I believe you. Just be honest with me." Romeo started to say he would love her forever. Juliet said, "This is all happening too fast. Good night. I hope you're happy." Romeo said, "I don't want to leave yet." Juliet said, "I promise to love you forever." Then she heard her nurse calling her name. "I have to go now." Juliet went back inside, then came back to the window. She said, "Tomorrow I will send someone to you. Let's get married." Romeo said, "Oh, my love." Juliet said, "It's almost morning. Good night." Romeo thought, "I will go see a priest. He can help us get married." Romeo went to see a kind priest named Friar Lawrence. The priest lived in a quiet house near Verona. He prayed and made medicines. Young men often came to him for advice. The priest walked in his garden early in the morning. He picked flowers and plants. He knew which ones were good for medicine and which ones were dangerous. Romeo called out, "Hello, Friar Lawrence." The priest said, "Romeo, what are you doing here so early? Is something wrong?" The priest knew that Romeo loved Rosalind, but she didn't love him back. Romeo said, "I went to a party at the Capulet's house where I met someone new. I love her and she loves me. Please help us." Romeo said, "I love Juliet Capulet and she loves me. We want to get married. Will you help us, please?" The priest was surprised. He said, "But what about Rosalind? You were so sad because she didn't love you. How can you love someone else so quickly?" Romeo said, "Please, just help us. I really love Juliet." The priest said, "Maybe it's just a crush, not real love. But maybe if you marry Juliet, it will stop the fighting between your families. Okay, I will help you, but be careful. Don't rush into things. So, the next morning, Juliet went to see Romeo at Friar Lawrence's house. The priest married them. Then Juliet went home, and Romeo went to see his friends. They teased him about being in love. Tybalt came looking for Romeo. He was angry that Romeo was at the party. Mercutio, Romeo's friend, started to fight with Tybalt. Tybalt killed Mercutio. Romeo was very sad and angry. He wanted to get revenge for his friend. So Romeo fought Tybalt and killed him. The people came running. Romeo ran away. The Prince of Verona said that Romeo had to leave the city. If he ever came back, he would be killed. Juliet was now married. She didn't know that Romeo had killed Tybalt and had to leave Verona. She waited for her nurse to bring her news. Romeo was very upset that he had to leave Juliet. He wanted to hurt himself. But Friar Lawrence said, "Don't do that. Go to another city and wait. I will find a way for you to be with Juliet again." Juliet's father wanted her to marry a man named Paris. He didn't even ask her if she wanted to. Romeo and Juliet were very sad. They knew they had to say goodbye soon. In her despair, Juliet tried to deny the reality that Romeo had to leave. Juliet said, "You don't have to go yet. It's still night. That's just a nightingale singing." Romeo said, "No, that's a lark. It means the sun is coming up. I have to leave or I will be killed." Juliet said, "Stay a little longer." Romeo said, "I don't want to leave you, but I have to go. Goodbye, my love." Juliet cried, "It's morning. You have to go now." Romeo kissed Juliet goodbye and climbed down from the balcony. Juliet said, "Please send me letters. I will miss you so much." Romeo ran away. Juliet's mother came into the room and was surprised to see Juliet awake. Juliet's mother thought she was crying because Tybalt was dead. She said, "You will marry Paris soon." Juliet didn't want to marry Paris. Her father was very angry. He yelled at her and said she had to marry him. Juliet went to see Friar Lawrence. Paris was already there, telling the priest about the wedding. The priest was worried and told Paris to leave. Juliet said she would do anything to avoid marrying Paris. The priest had a plan. The priest said, "You must pretend to agree to marry Paris. Then on Wednesday night, drink this potion. It will make you look dead. You will sleep for 2 days. Everyone will think you are dead and they will put you in a tomb. I will tell Romeo about the plan, and he will come and get you. Then you and Romeo can run away together." Juliet said, "I will do it. Goodbye, Friar Lawrence." Juliet went home. Her father was planning the wedding. Her mother was picking out her dress. Juliet sent her nurse away so she could be alone. She was scared. Juliet thought, "Goodbye, Mother. I'm afraid. What if the potion doesn't work? What if I wake up in the tomb before Romeo comes? But I have to do this for Romeo." Juliet bravely drank the potion and fell asleep. The next morning, everyone in the Capulet house was busy, preparing for the wedding. But then, the nurse found Juliet in her bed. She was cold and still. Everyone cried. They thought she was dead. The priest told them to stop crying and prepare for Juliet's funeral. Romeo was waiting for news about Juliet. Then his servant Balthazar came from Verona. He said, "Juliet is dead." Balthazar said, "I saw them put her in the family tomb." Romeo said, "Is this true? I have to see her." He bought poison from a poor man. He would go to Juliet's tomb. Friar Lawrence learned that Romeo didn't get his letter. He rushed to Juliet's tomb. Romeo arrived at the tomb and saw Paris. Paris was also there to see Juliet. Romeo and Paris fought. Romeo killed Paris. Romeo went inside the tomb. He said, "Juliet, I will stay with you forever." He drank the poison and died. Just then, Friar Lawrence arrived at the tomb. He saw Romeo and Paris dead. Then, Juliet woke up. Juliet said, "Where is Romeo?" The priest said, "Oh no, what have I done? Romeo is dead. Paris is dead. We have to leave." Juliet said, "I will not leave Romeo." She saw the poison bottle in his hand. He drank all the poison. "Now I will die too." Someone shouted, "We are here. Open the door." Juliet took Romeo's knife and killed herself. Romeo and Juliet were dead. They loved each other very much, but they could not be together in life. Now they were together in death. The Montagues and the Capulets were very sad when they found Romeo and Juliet dead. They realized that their fighting had caused this tragedy. From that day on, they stopped fighting and became friends. Romeo and Juliet's love finally brought peace to Verona. The end.